How's it going, Rogues Gallery? Today we're going to open up and review the Sorcery Contested Realm Beta Starter Decks, the 4 Elements. This video is a long time coming. As someone who basically alpha tested Sorcery, I have been waiting for my chance to review the official market release. They did the alpha Kickstarter release, but I kind of wanted to wait until we had the version that you can go out to your LGS and potentially pick up. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be comparing this to the alpha version of the starter decks. And I do want to say, in regards to the alpha version of the starter decks, at the price that they were originally selling for, which is around $40 US, I think that they are some of the absolute best starter deck products on the market for any trading card game. You got 4 decks for $40 and just a awesome complete play experience. So we're going to open this up today and see how the beta version stacks up to the alpha version. I'm also going to show you how to quickly tell the difference between the two. So if you like the video, if you like the content, hey, maybe like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started. All right, so here we have our box of beta starter decks, and here we have our box of alpha starter decks. Can you tell the difference from a single glance? Well, there's a couple easy ways to do so, but from the front, there's one easy way, and that is you can kind of see this alpha symbol here for the alpha version, and you guessed it, you can kind of see the beta symbol here for the beta version. There's also a couple other key distinctions. The alpha version does not have a barcode on the bottom, while the beta version does. If this was sealed, they'd both have the same shrink wrap, as well as the avatar images on the sides represent the avatars in the starter decks, so they are different. So as you can see, we have air and earth here on this side, and then on the back side, or on the other side, we have water and fire, but they are different. So those are the couple ways that you can tell the difference between the alpha version and the beta version. The deck lists inside are different, so keep that in mind as well as we open them up. There are marked differences between the two decks, other than one being alpha and one being beta. The contents are they're different. So let's open up this beta version. Now, at the time of the recording, these are going for about $40, which is the MSRP on the product. So keep that price in mind as we talk about everything we're going to talk about today, right? $40 is the current price point. So if you're watching this in the future and the price is not $40, well, that is going to affect the review, obviously. And then once again, I will say that the original alpha starter deck product, in my opinion, was one of the absolute best starter deck products for any trading card game on the market. Sorcery itself, I think, is an incredibly fun game that you can kind of treat like a board game almost, and this for $40 is a really, really fun and good board game experience. So let's open this up and see what comes in the beta version. So at first glance, this is very, very similar, right? We have like a rule book, we have the 4 decks. This one even comes with a booster pack and some extra little cards here. So let's kind of take this out. We have the Earth deck, and some cards in the Earth deck, Mountain Giant and the Amazons. Let's take a look at the Water deck. I do believe that these decks have less unique cards than the alpha versions. Here's the Fire deck. I'm a big fan of the Fire deck. I think there's an interesting thing with this in that it shows the Ancient Dragon on here, but I don't think the Ancient Dragon's actually in the deck. We're gonna open it up and find out. And finally, last but not least, the Air deck. All right, so we have these decks. We'll open these up individually, but let's check out what else is in the product. So we have our tiny little tokens. These are the tokens in Sorcery. They're tiny, and there's a little history behind this. I do believe that they had intended originally for the tokens to be half size, but for some reason they were initially uploaded to the printer at half the half size. So now we have these little like quarter size cards, or maybe not even that. But yeah, you get your little tokens. A lot of people find these very endearing, and the print quality on like versus how small they are is like fairly remarkable. So you have your foot soldier tokens, you have your frog tokens, they're all single-sided here. You have your burned tokens, and then you have your flooded tokens. I actually like keeping these in a little drawstring bag. Let me grab the drawstring bag I have from the alpha. So here's the alpha. And I like keeping them in like a little drawstring bag because they're small, they're fidgety, and they kind of get around. And as you can see inside, we have a very similar kind of setup. I actually use this alpha starters as, like I mentioned earlier, like a board game. And I think it functions very, very well as such. All right, so those are the tokens. We'll kind of set these aside for now. We have a booster pack. This is a booster pack of Sorcery Beta. Another one of the reasons, or another one of the ways that you can tell is it has a barcode on the back, whereas the alpha version, no barcode. We have a couple Rubble token cards. These are just kind of like token placeholder type cards that you can use for effects that make rubble, and I do believe the Earth deck does that. And then, of course, we have an actual booklet here. Here's a QR code for the complete rules. But I actually really like that they, actually included a full color rulebook. I think this is somewhat of a lost art for card games these days, where most games just opt to give you just like a, like a flyer or something with a barcode. I actually really like how this gives you an illustrated rulebook. Very good, very smart. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I think more card games should do this. So that's already a huge, huge plus for me. All right, we'll open up this booster pack last because it's not really part of the review. It's just going to be, a fun little extra thing. So let's open up the decks. Let's start off with the Earth deck here. Now, I do believe, like I said, the Earth deck does use those rubble. And I also want to say that, once again, the decks are very different compared to the two releases. So if you have purchased the alpha decks, well, hey, these are going to be different. Are they going to be better? Well, that I'm unsure of. I think there are less unique cards. So by that virtue, likely less powerful cards. But I think these are still very well balanced after looking at the lists. This here is just a placeholder. I think it's actually really smart. So they have a placeholder in all of these deck boxes. This was true for the alpha version. If you sleeve this deck up, even single sleeved in Dragon Shields, you can fit it back in this box. And that's exactly what I've done with my alpha version. You can sleeve it up and stick it right back in the box, which I think is very, very smart. All right, let's take a look at the deck. So we have our avatar here, which is the Geomancer. You can tap it to play or draw a site, and if you played an Earth site, fill a void adjacent to you with rubble. And once again, they have provided said rubble. Get my tokens all squared away. And it says tap, replace an adjacent rubble with the topmost site of your atlas, which is pretty cool. So it does like this kind of ramping replacement style effect. We're not going to go over all the cards here because that would take a long time, but we're going to flip through them just so you can get an idea of the flavor of Sorcery, because Sorcery itself is what I would consider like a premium trading card game that's made with a lot of love and care, and the art really, really shows. It's all hand-drawn, hand-painted artwork from a lot of legendary fantasy artists, which is really, really cool. So anyway, we have the Geomancer, we have Craterize, it's an elite magic. Elites are essentially the rares of Sorcery, and they also dictate how many of each version you can have in the deck. So you can only have 2 of any given elite, 1 of any given unique, 3 of any given exceptional, and then 4 of any given ordinary. So we have Craterize, we have another elite. This is Raytanis Titan, really cool card. Mountain Giant, another elite. Got some Wild Boars. This is an ordinary card. Land Surveyor, we got a couple of them. We have some Scent Hounds. Belmont Longbowmen, got 3 of those. We have the Cave Trolls. This is kind of like, your very standard starter deck kind of package. We have Pudge Butcher, this is a fan favorite card. You can like hook things and drag them across the field. Autumn Unicorn. Slumbering Giantess, this is one of the cards that was not in the alpha decks. House Arn Bannerman. This is an exceptional card, but it synergizes really, really well. You get that whole boost for your army. We have the Phalanx. We have some Amazon Warriors. Ooh, King of the Realm. So this is a unique card, which is great. Once again, you can only have one unique per deck, and these tend to be very, very powerful. And the King of the Realm is a unique, it says, a unique mortal, triumphant and true. Other mortals have +1 power, and then you also control all mortals, so you get a control of all of your opponent's mortals. But he's a big 7-drop there. We have Overpower, a couple copies of these. Divine Healing is a pretty sweet card. It's a 1-drop. You gain 7 life, but you have to have a 3 Earth threshold. We have Border Militia. Barry is a really, really nice removal card. Caven, also a pretty nice removal card. We have Entangle Terrain, Siege Ballista, and good old Rolling Boulder. This card's sweet because it can roll across the battlefield. And then the Payload Trebuchet. So that is that for the main deck. And then here for the Atlas deck, I imagine we'll have a lot of the basic stuff. So we have the villages. The villages are, we have a couple different copies or types of them. So we have Humble Village. And we also have Rustic Village. They all have different artwork. Simple Village. And then we have some non-village cards. Those are basically like the basics, the most generic sites that you can have for sorcery. Vantage Hills, Quagmire, Bedrock, Holy Ground, and a Sinkhole. So we have an exceptional site, an elite site, kind of a mix of all the rarities here. I do like how this deck does come with one unique, which is pretty cool. We'll have to see how that is for the other decks, but having the uniques in the starter decks is kind of a double-edged sword, because it's cool to have these really powerful cards in the starter decks, but it also makes opening them in booster packs not that exciting if you've already bought the starter decks, because a unique card you can literally only have one of in your deck. And so, yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Looking at this deck, and then once again, I've already kind of gone over the deck lists prior to this video, and I've tested this game quite a bit. This deck looks pretty fun and balanced, a little bit less powerful and random than the alpha deck, but yeah, it looks pretty solid. A lot of duplicates of cards that are like solid role players, like, you know, like the cave trolls and that kind of stuff. So yeah, overall, very cool, very sweet. I'm a big fan of the Earth decks in general. So we'll have our Geomancer here. Let's take a look at the Water deck. And I should mention now, I'm assuming that you know at least what Sorcery is while we're opening these up. If you don't, it is a grid-based trading card game where you play sites and you fight on a grid as you expand your realm. All right, let's open this one up. So this is the Wave Shaper. It's your avatar turns the tide in your favor. Love it. You can tap it to play or draw a site, and you can tap it to flood a site near your body of water until you do so again. Tap minions without submerge there. They don't untap until the next time they would, which is pretty sweet. We have the Diluvian Kraken, really sweet, powerful, elite unit there. We also have Anui Undyne, really powerful card as well. Sea Serpent, you can kind of get the flavor here. I love Sedge Crabs because they can only move sideways because they're crabs. It's so good. Swamp Buffalo, this awful looking pufferfish, Tide Naiads. You got some swans. Polar bears. Polar bears are cool because they can move to the top and the bottom of the edges of the realm as though they were connected, kind of like a Pac-Man kind of thing. They go up and they come up from the bottom. Pretty cool. Coral Reef Kelpie by one of my favorite artists of all time, Melissa Benson, classic magic artist. Got the Bullfrog, which eats other units. Got some mermaids, Guile Sirens, Tuft Turtles. I got pirate ships. Ooh, so here's another elite. This is the Sirawan Hydra, another really powerful card. Ooh, I really like the Sunken Treasure. It's a really fun card. Flooded is also very cool. Like, I love how just flavorful these are, and they really, really help you make this, I don't know, like this shared experience when you play the game. Riptide, Drown is a great removal card. Ooh, Ice Lance, similar deal, great removal. Font of Life, Stormy Seas, Wrath of the Sea. This card's pretty brutal too. My partner in playtesting a long time ago used this card to basically flood the whole world and drowned all my dudes. It's a really cool card that can make some really cool moments. The basics for the water deck are the rivers. So we have Autumn River, We have the Spring River, and we have the Summer River. We also have some exceptional sites. So we have Undertow, three copies of Undertow. We have Floodplain, a couple copies of Floodplain. Here's our unique for the deck. This is Maelstrom, really, really cool unique actually, with really, really awesome artwork by one of my favorite artists, Dan Seagrave. And then we have the Island Leviathan. It's one of your sites that turns into a unit, which is really cool. So yeah, it looks like each deck looks like they're setting it up so they all come with at least one unique. All right, we're gonna save my favorite to last, which is the Fire deck, while we open up Air. I really like all the elements, by the way. I think they're all very, 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 very fun to play with. I think Air and Fire might be some of my favorites, like combination, but no, they're all great. Like I mentioned earlier, I really like Earth as well. All right, let's check out the Air deck. Oh, looks like we have a unique site. So this one is this is a unique site, Cloud City. It's pretty cool. It can kind of like fly around, and there's really good flavor in this game. So we'll have to see if there's another unique in the main deck. So we have a Spark Mage as our avatar. Once again, you can tap it to player draw site, and you can tap it to target nearby location, deal damage to another random unit there equal to the sum of your air threshold on spells you've cast this turn. Very interesting. So this kind of wants you to storm off, which is kind of hilarious. I dig it. Lightning Bolt, just a great all-around card. Got three copies of the Lightning Bolt. That's awesome. We have Thunderstorm, really cool card that just kind of covers an area in lightning. Ooh, Lucky Charm. I'm a big fan of this card. We have Nimbus Djinn, powerful elite unit. Got some Sling Pixies. Good old Snow Leopards. Just a kind of run-of-the-mill, one-cost, 2-power unit. Cloud Spirit, great little flyer. Night, or Dead of Night Demon. Spectral Stalker. These are all kind of like ordinary cards. Ooh, a couple Headless Haunts. This card's sweet. This is an exceptional card. Kite Archer. Ooh, another one of my favorites, Midnight Rogue. Of course, Red Zone Rogue likes the Midnight Rogue. Pegasus Spire Lich is a great card. While it's on top of a tower, it gets bonuses because, you know, it's the Spire Lich. Very cool. Gyre Hippogriffs, Skirmishers. I love this roaming monster. Also, just Jeff Easley artwork is very cool. Highland Clansman, just a nice 5-power card with charge. Ooh, this is also another really, really great staple, is the Apprentice Wizards and the Grandmaster Wizard, actually. These are fantastic cards because when you play them, well, first of all, it's a spellcaster, so you can cast spells from this unit or from your avatar, and then you draw a card when you play him, which is great. The Grandmaster Wizard is the exact same, except you draw 3 cards when you play him. Great. Blink. You have good old Teleport, some Evasion, Raise Dead. Gotta love you a good old Raise Dead, as well as some Chain Lightnings. And you saw the Spire Lich. We like towers, so here's our towers. We've got the Gothic Towers, the Dark Towers, Lone Towers, Mountain Pass, a couple copies of these. Updraft Ridge, Observatory, ooh, Planar Gate. I love this card as well. And the Cloud City. Yeah. I mean, this looks like a really, really fun deck to play. You have burn spells with the lightning. You have cool evasive creatures with like the Cloud Spirit and like the Spectral Stalkers. And pretty powerful units too. Like I said, like the Grandmaster Wizard, Apprentice Wizard. And where's that Djinn? The Nimbus Djinn is like super, super strong. Yeah, Nimbus Djinn is like very, very strong. So that is the Air deck. And the last but certainly not least, we have the Fire deck. Like I said, my favorite of them, and I'm pretty sure, like I said, does not come with the Ancient Dragon, which is an elite card. It's not a unique, and the alpha version did come with the dragon there. I don't remember off the top of my head what the unique card is in this though. All right, and then there was one. We have the Flame Caller. So tap to player draw site, and you can tap to banish all your dead fire minions, shoot a projectile. It deals damage equal to the sum of their fire threshold. Very cool way to like just clear pesky units or to finish off your opponent. Because if your opponent is at death door, you only need to deal 1 damage to them. So you can use this and at least deal 1 damage to them to finish them off, which is great. All right, so we have the Infernal Legion, a really sweet elite unit. We have the Colicky Dragonets. I love these dudes. The dragons are sweet. At the end of your turn, they shoot a projectile and it deals 1 damage. It was a little bit better in the alpha or the pre-alpha version that I was playing, where they shot 3 projectiles. We got the Salamander, cool card. The fact that it takes no damage from fire spells is great, because when you're doing those big explosions, hey, well, your Lava Salamander lives, and also it's a fire spell caster, so you can have it cast the explosions. Good old Camel, Pit Viper. We got the Nomads, Sacred Scarabs, great little explodey dudes. Wayfaring Pilgrim, Ogre Goons, just a solid beater. Quarrelsome Kobolds, Clamor of Harpies. Got a Cavalry, which is just a nice aggressive card. Sandworm. Ooh, I like the Basilisk, turns other units into basically stone. Oh, I'm a big fan of the Phoenix as well. I kind of forgot that this was in the deck. Yeah, big fan of the Phoenix. We have the Cyclops. So we do have we have Burn, we have some smaller dudes, but we also have some like bigger heavy hitting units. Just like, look at the art and style of this game. Wildfire is another card that can make really cool stories, because it basically burns the land, deals damage, and then it goes to other land pieces and just burns them all along the way. Really cool card. Firebolt, nice little burn spell. Classic Fireball. We have Mad Dash. It's like the meme. Blaze, Heat Ray, big fan of the Minor Explosion. We have Incinerate, Cone of Flame, also big fan of this card. And then Major Explosion. And then for the lands, or for the sites, we have the Arid Deserts. This one has 4 Arid Deserts, so most of the other ones had 3 copies of each basic one. Looks like this one has 4, so we have 4 Red Deserts. And then we have 4 Remote Deserts. We have, I think this one has Vesuva as the unique. I'm remembering now. So I think it's actually right here too. So that we have Shifting Sands. We have Vesuvius, not Vesuva. And then finally we have that Cornerstone that we saw a little bit earlier. So each of these decks comes with 1 unique. Most of them are in the site slot, but not all of them. And yeah, for $40, you get all 4 of these decks. You get that booster pack as well. You get your tokens, and then a nice box to, keep them all in. As you can see, this acts as a really nice storage box. The quality on this is it's pretty good, right? It's not flimsy. It's just good quality. And that's one of the things that you'll get with Sorcery, is that I kind of think of it as a premium card game, and you really get that experience here. The cards feel nice. They just look fantastic. And the most important part is they're really, really fun to play. All 4 of these decks look fairly balanced against each other. I know that the official Sorcery YouTube channel has gameplay matches of all the decks kind of matched up against each other, which is really, really awesome. And I'd have to say, you know what? For $40, I think this is going to have my same verdict as the alpha version. Alpha version had a little bit more flashy cards in it, but I still think these are fantastic. In fact, these might have a better play experience, because they do have a lot of more consistency with 3 ofs and 2 ofs of a lot of these cards, which is, for any card game player out there, that's awesome. But there's also a lot of room to upgrade these, and you have the booster pack to help do that. So yeah, I think this is actually one of the best starter deck products on the market. If you can get these for $40, that's about, you can think of it as $10 per deck, or you can think of it as $40 for a board game that has 4 different decks with all of the elements and a little bit of an expansion here. I'm giving that review before we open up the booster pack, because the whatever's in the booster pack doesn't matter, right? It's not part of the review. You just get a nice little bonus. So I do highly, highly recommend this. I think this game is really, really fun to play. And I think this is just a great way to do this. Even if you have no intent of buying booster packs and doing the whole TCG thing, I think this would be a very fun product to just buy as a standalone product, sleeve it up, keep it together, maybe not even sleeve it up, whatever you want. Keep it together and just play with it at the kitchen table with your friends and your family. And I do want to say that my lovely partner, she's not the biggest fan of trading card games, but this is one of the games that she actually will play with me because it has that really fun and board gamey type experience. So yeah, that is that. Let's kind of cap off this video by opening this booster pack and kind of check out what's inside. But the final verdict is yes, I think this is very much worth it. In fact, I think it's one of the best starter deck products on the market there. All right, so we have a giant shark. This is an exceptional card, one of the uncommons. We should have 3 of those and then our rare, if I had to say. Then we have shield wall. We have a monastery gargoyle, and then our rare or unique, ooh, screaming skull, nice. This is a great one. So this is one of the ones that used to come in, I do believe it used to come in the alpha starters, or maybe it was in the pre-alpha starters. I just remember getting this and playtesting with this card. It's pretty cool. Whenever bear attacks and kills an enemy, it untaps, so you can just kind of like go ham. Cool little card here. And then we have our ordinary cards. So we have like a roaming monster, drown. These are cards that you can all upgrade into the decks. And I do want to say that I think it's actually kind of smart that they had this pack in there and that they, like a lot of the ordinary cards, they only gave you 3 of, because if you really like the card and you open up another copy of it in this booster, then you can just stick it in the deck, right? You don't have any dead cards in the booster pack that they give you, which I think is kind of cool. We have Drown, we have the Mercs, Scarecrow, Rain of Arrows. Ooh, another Apprentice Wizard. You can slap that on in to the air deck. We have some bats, good old Pirat Shop, Snow Leopard, Sea Serpent, and then finally we have a Simple Village. I guess that's not true. I guess what I said is like mostly true. They did have 4 of the deserts. So if you open up a desert in the booster pack, well, you can't really put that in the fire deck. But still, it's cool. I dig it. And I think this is a great product. So big thumbs up for me. If you can find this at MSRP $40. Once it starts creeping up and getting more expensive than that, well, you know, you have to judge that accordingly. But thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.